Good day. Welcome to the Talk It Out podcast, back on YouTube. And today, I have the honor of having my first guest. Remember I said there's going to be somebody sitting in this chair with me, not really in the chair with me, that would be kind of gross, but sitting right next to me. This is Jack Fleming of Comrade Financial Services. Jack, how are you?
Good, sir. How are you doing?
Good, good. Thanks for coming. We're just going to talk it out. We're just going to throw up things and see where they go. Talk about life, talk about each other, talk about his businesses, which he can help you with, because he's going to help me too. The music we're listening to now is Enigma. The song's Rivers of Belief from, I believe, 1991. Jack, I read your bio. Firstly, Air Force, Airborne 82, right?
Army Airborne.
Army Airborne 82, Gulf War veteran, 2 sons, just like me.
Yes, sir.
You got to tell us the story, though, of how you got into the insurance business. I read that, and that kind of tickled me. This is got to go. Check this out, guys. Go ahead, tell us the story of how you got in.
I was working at a Ford Motor Company doing 712s and ice cream
What's
truck.
712s? I don't know.
712s means 12 hours a day, 7 days
Oh,
a
okay.
week.
What?
Yeah. Like third year into it.
Damn.
And
Damn.
ice cream truck came by the house, and my wife went out to the ice cream truck and bought some ice cream and a little candy bead bracelet that's kept together by a piece of elastic cord. Next thing you know, I get an emergency phone call. Security comes and gets me off the line and says, "You got to go home." I go home, and my son had taken a candy bead and stuck it in his nostril,
Oh, man.
and nobody could get it out. Grandma, grandpa, wife, here's my son, swollen nostril, nice and big. Nobody could get this out. Crying, carrying on. I grabbed him
Was
up.
it because of bleeding or anything?
No, it's just a piece of candy. You can see like a sweet tart right here, and a big old nostril.
And he couldn't pull it out?
Couldn't get it out. So I swept him up. I took him to the ER. I get to the ER. They already knew who I was because I've been to the ER 5, 6, 7 times just from work injuries.
Okay.
And nurse practitioner says, "Lay your son down on the table. Put your mouth over his mouth and blow." So I did. The bead popped right out. Nobody from the hospital touched my son. Nobody gave us a plastic bracelet. They didn't even check our insurance. He already knew who I was. I've been there several times for stitches and some slag in the eye.
Okay.
A month later, I get a bill for almost $1,000. Emergency room visit.
And they didn't even touch him?
Nobody touched him.
How long were you in the room?
I was in and out 7 minutes, tops.
Man.
Almost $1,000. Took the bill to my benefits rep at the union, and they said, "We can't do nothing for you. Pay the bill." Which was about 2 weeks' check back then.
Yeah, yeah.
So I said,
At 7/12 or 2 weeks check?
it was about a week and a half. check.
Okay.
So I said, "What the hell's going on with this insurance? I need to learn about this. I'm never going to get caught behind the 8 ball. I get burned by this
Right.
stuff in again." So
Yeah.
I started reading and started learning, and that started my journey. I didn't really jump into insurance then, but
Okay.
it started my journey to realize, what do I have? What am I paying for? What, just in case, what if?
Right.
Which kind of
right.
reverts back to the Army. You plan for the worst, and if the worst doesn't happen, at least you're prepared
Prep
for it.
Well, this guy does annuities too, guys. Maryland, D.C., Virginia. He knows a lot of stuff. Okay, I'm working on dental plans with him. He does a lot of stuff. So he can help you. Give us a number. Give us a number. Phone number. Something.
240-855-4541.
240-855-4541. That's for business. Today we're going to talk about life. Army veteran. Dealing with all kinds of people. Everywhere in the world. Now, in the Army today, if you were in the Army today, what would you think? How would you feel about this country right now?
Well, I think I would have retired already because 30 years and out.
You'd be a general. What's not a general? Who knows?
I've been out of the military so long that, what do I think about the country? And
Yeah, what direction are we going in? How do you feel about where we are? What I want to really talk about, Jack, is how guys like you and me can get together and talk things out to make things, I don't know, take the next step in something. Race relationships, just anything. I just think that the more people connect on the ground, the easier it is to move things up.
I used to get hung up on race until I realized that we're all the human race.
Yeah.
What color is everybody's blood?
Yeah.
We're all red.
And I imagine in a military sense, the guy next to you is the guy next to you, regardless of what color he is.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't. So why? When does it matter? And you know, I'll give you an example. I'm working with kids. I always say it's a time of discovery. When it's 3 years old, I'm a black kid, you're a white kid. I might touch your hair. You might touch my hair. That's discovery to kids.
Yep.
That's just plain and simple. And then they move on. But when we get involved, when grown-ups get involved in that, then it takes all kinds of turns.
I think now in this country, race has came back to the forefront of things because we're genetically disposed to think of who's better than me, am I better than you, what race has it better than other races, and you know, to me, we're the human race.
Yeah.
You know, I just want Trump to come out and tell the world about the aliens. You know?
Well, we get the space program for that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the space, yeah.
You know?
And if you can pull it off, pull it off.
Yeah.
But it's just, I'm just, I always wonder, again, growing up in Philly, I do remember certain things. I remember at 16, the only time I've ever called a racial name. Not nigga. That's a word, okay? It's a word. Say it and get past it.
It only happened to you once in your life.
Yes. Me and my brother, we used to play hockey in Philadelphia. And we used to go up in the northeast section of the city. We lived in North Philadelphia. We would go up to the northeast section. We were waiting for the bus to take us back to North Philly.
What'd they call you?
I'm going to get to that. We were waiting at the bus stop. A yellow convertible with 4 white guys drove by. And my brother had a stutter problem, has a little speech problem then. He's 14, I'm 16. And they drove by and they said, "You spooks better not be here when we get back." I was like, oh shit. My brother's lighter than me, so automatically.
Were they Italians?
No, not in the northeast section. Not in the northeast section. Italians were in South Philadelphia. Philadelphia's an ethnic city for you guys that don't know. You go in different sections, you act as you're supposed to act. There's an Italian section, a white section, but they just said, "You spooks better not be here when you get back." And I was just like, my brother was freaked out. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? I'm like, we're gonna wait for the bus. The bus comes here first, we're fine, don't we fight? But in my mind, I'm like, damn, they called me a spook. You know, and it made me to think though, how would I feel if that happened every day?
Here I am at Ford Motor Company working, and an older supervisor of Ford Motor Company, college degree, friend same age as my dad, says, "When are you gonna get this work done, white boy?" I said, whoa, what'd you just call me?
Was he white?
No, he was black.
Okay.
And he was a supervisor, and I was a white guy, and somebody called me a white boy. And I'm like, wait a second, I don't come from that.
Yeah.
You know, I was breakdancing, I was popping, I was German smurfing. You know, the whole breakdance stuff.
Yeah. But see, back then, remember, we had, for a while, there were 2 different types of radio stations. You had a soul station, and you had a pop station. So people thought that we danced a certain way, y'all danced.
That's before hip hop.
Yeah. You thought we danced different ways, but everybody listens to the same music now, so it has nothing to do with dancing. But
Beastie Boys, Grandmaster Flash, The Furious Five, all that stuff came out, and that's what kind of started.
Play that funky music.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's KC.
But that's the other thing. Why was it always okay, or it seemed like to me, we could call you guys white boys, but you guys couldn't call us niggas.
Yeah, but if you look at the definition, it's ignorant person.
Yeah.
If you look at WAP is derogatory for Italian.
Right.
If you look at a Polski, is something derogatory for somebody Polish.
Right.
You know, hey you is something derogatory for somebody of a lower rank in the military.
Yeah.
You know, it's always been, you know, probably just inbred in us, you know, genetically. Back when there was cavemen that didn't have any hair and cavemen that had hair.
Yeah.
You know, why do they like the ones that didn't have any hair and the ones that did have hair?
Yeah. Do you think that this is well, to me, I look at these times now, especially with Trump as president, and a lot of what's going on now is the last of the dying breed, like the last of the white supremacist breed that's going out on a sword, something like that to me.
I don't think Trump's a white supremacist. I think he's just a bored billionaire.
I think he's an opportunist. I think he's a con man. I think he's a con man.
Well, you know,
And the con man is good as always is con, as long as he's talking.
Well, he became president.
Yeah, it worked. I'm not saying he's not a good guy, but growing up where I did in Philly, I've seen guys like Trump. on lower levels. My thing too is that the most interesting thing about this whole thing to me is the TV aspect of it. He's on television for 14, 15 years. So he has a comfort level with people. People are comfortable with him, whether they know him or not. They think they do. It goes back to when Gilligan's Island was on TV.
Yeah.
And the networks would say they would get letters from people saying, please get those people off the island, thinking that everything
Please
was
save
real.
them.
Yeah, please save them. So I think people relate to him for and you know what? I didn't vote for him, but at the same time, I always said to myself, he has an opportunity to really do something that nobody else has done. I mean, the time is right, if he's of a mind to do it.
He's not done yet. Wait till the next election, and wait till the economy,
But
wait
I
till
don't
housing,
think he's of a
and
mind
wait
to
till
do it. I don't think he's of a mind to do anything other than do something for himself. That's what
I don't know. He gave away his yearly White House presidential salary.
Oh,
you know?
real? Oh,
He gave it away.
$400,000. That's a.
Give me some money then. If you're gonna,
That's what I'm
if you're gonna
saying.
give something
Him
away.
giving it away is just like, come on.
You can't compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges. It's just the climate. I mean, when was the last seated president take up residence in D.C.? Barack Obama and his wife and his family are still in D.C.
Mm-hmm.
And that one lady, I don't even know her name, she was got somebody fired because somebody said something about Muslims, and now you've got detainees, you got ICE, you got all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
And is he fixing stuff, or is he just making it worse?
I think he's just bringing it to the forefront. I think it was always there.
You don't know what the government's doing anyway.
Right. By and large, we don't have to.
And whatever the government tells you that they're doing, that's just PR.
But
They're never going to tell you exactly what they're doing.
okay. But here's the other thing too. Politicians lie.
Everybody
Yes,
lies.
Everybody lies. You're right, and everybody lies. And to me, it is never revealed until you get caught. Then everybody's got an alibi for a lie. But
At least own up to a lie if you get caught lying.
this guy lies every day and doesn't own up to anything. He lies every day. He'll get out there and blatantly tell you something that he knows is not true, and it's repeated over and over again. My wife catches me with somebody in the bed. I'm there. Baby, it ain't me. Baby, it ain't me. He can do that. And he'll say it every day, and people will know it, and they still don't care. How is he allowed to get away with this shit?
But how can people like you and me change that? Besides going radical and doing something that we shouldn't be doing in the first place. How could we change that? Do we get caught up by the hype of hate?
No.
The hype of, oh, I'm offended? The hype of, what can I do to make somebody's life better? It has nothing to do with me who they stop in Phoenix, Arizona, or Dallas, Texas, or Juarez, Mexico. It has nothing to do with me and my life.
Right.
What has to do with me and my life is what's affecting me locally and nationally, because if you look at the whole national level, we all live inside a bubble here, 30, 35 miles around the capital. What's our industry? It's government.
What's anybody's industry nowadays?
Well,
ours is government.
Steel
industry,
workers, there's industrial, there's agricultural, but around here it's government. And you got an influx of people, 25%, people coming in and coming out, and it's all part of that system.
But how does divisiveness, or how does schoolboy bullshit do anything for anybody? I say something about your policy, you say something about my hair. Come on. How does that help anybody?
I don't know, but I do know this, that my viewpoint on the United States is that it's more than a country, it's a corporation. Mm-hmm. Okay?
It's a failing corporation.
Well, we're a corporation in debt, but who else better to run a corporation than a businessman?
Who's been in debt and filed bankruptcy 4 times.
So
Not a good businessman.
So what's he doing with China now? Imposing all these tariffs? Is China going to dump all of our debt on the world market?
Meanwhile, he's still having his clothes made in China. His flags for the 2020 election.
I don't wear no
They're
Trump
made
tie.
in China.
My wife don't buy Melania stuff.
It doesn't matter. His stuff is still made there. He's talking American shit all the time, but he's making his shit in China.
That's capitalism.
Okay, but that's not America first.
Well,
That's not America first.
I put my family first, and
Right.
then I put God, and if I'm called to duty again, then it's America.
Yeah.
But If he's claiming America first, then he's just a hypocrite.
Thank you. See, here's the other thing I understand. It amazes me, and I think the reason why we always take, as a country, a step forward and a step back is one side can't be totally right and the other side can't be totally wrong. There is, in other words, if I want to choose between two people, I can't imagine why is it always such a big disparity in what they believe is right for the country.
Yeah, but guess what, Neal? If you've had enough of something in your life that you don't want, what are you going to do? You're going to change it, right?
Right, sure.
You're going to either get worse, or you're going to get better.
Right.
So maybe this is a dose of reality for all of us.
Oh, it is. It definitely is that.
Maybe it's woken up so many people that were sleeping and dealing with their own lives.